that's not my place, to answer, to even be able to give the answer to that. I feel like it's not in my control. So I'm not even gonna think about that or have that even in my thought process of why it is. Like, there's a lot of people that want to have the opportunity to be at this level, and I'm here, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity. So whenever that is, it is. But it doesn't make me feel down, or it doesn't make me feel left out or anything, because I know who I am as a person, I know who I am as an individual, and I know what I can bring to this team. So I can never feel less than, in any circumstance.
Shedeur Sanders is absolutely impressing coaches and reporters despite getting barely any first-team reps at Browns training camp. When reporters are telling people to keep watching this kid after he was written off as a fifth-round bust, you know something special is happening behind the scenes. While Sanders sits dead last on Cleveland's four-man quarterback depth chart, there's a growing buzz about his pinpoint accuracy and ice-cold composure when opportunity knocks. The same kid who suffered the most dramatic draft slide in recent memory, falling from a projected top 3 pick all the way to 144th overall, is quietly making believers out of doubters. When Sanders finally got his limited shot with the second team, he delivered the throw of practice that had coaches doing double takes. Now reporters who've watched hundreds of practices are starting to whisper that Cleveland might have found their diamond in the rough. Look, I'm going to be real with you right now. What's happening with Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland is one of the most fascinating quarterback stories we've seen in years. And if you're not paying attention, you're missing out on what could be the comeback story of the decade. Let me paint you the picture of just how wild this situation has become. We're talking about a quarterback who was supposed to be picked in the top 5 of the NFL draft. Some mock drafts had him going as early as 3rd overall. This kid was the golden boy coming out of Colorado, breaking over 100 program records, throwing for over 7,000 yards in just 2 seasons under his father's coaching. He was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, basically every accolade you could want as a college quarterback. Then draft night happened, and it was brutal. Sanders watched as quarterback after quarterback got selected ahead of him. Caleb Williams went 1st overall to Chicago. That was expected. But then Jaden Daniels went 2nd to Washington. Drake May went 3rd to New England. Even Bo Nix got picked in the 1st round by Denver. Sanders kept falling. 2nd round came and went. 3rd round, 4th round, nothing. Finally, in the 5th round, at pick 144, the Cleveland Browns threw him a lifeline. But here's where the story gets really interesting, and why you need to keep watching this kid. Instead of sulking about his draft position, instead of complaining about the disrespect, Sanders showed up to Cleveland ready to work. And I mean really work. While other rookies might be pouting about not getting first-team reps, Sanders has been grinding with whoever they put in front of him, even if that means throwing passes to equipment staff members. Yeah, you heard that right. The former Colorado star quarterback, the son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, has been so low on the depth chart that he's literally been throwing passes to equipment guys just to get his reps in. Most quarterbacks would be frustrated, demoralized, maybe even demanding a trade, but not Shedeur. When reporters asked him about the lack of first-team opportunities, his response was pure class. I don't think it's my place to answer it, to even be able to give the answer to that. I feel like it's not in my control. So I'm not even going to think about that or have that even in my thought process. A lot of people want to have the opportunity to be at this level, and I'm here and I'm thankful to have the opportunity. This is the mindset that separates champions from everyone else. While most players would be complaining about their situation, Sanders is staying focused on what he can control, his preparation, his attitude, and making the most of every single rep he gets. And those reps, when he's getting them, he's been absolutely surgical.
If Zach Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good, he looks really good. He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback. True. So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the one, but the non-NFL quarterback can? What sense does that make?
It makes no sense. Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
God, man.
It doesn't make any sense.
What are y'all trying to? What is the goal of this year?
The numbers don't lie, and they're starting to tell a story that has coaches and reporters taking notice. On day 1 of Brown's minicamp, Sanders completed 10 of 12 passes with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's an 83% completion rate, the highest among all 4 quarterbacks competing for the job. But it gets better. Day 2. He went 8 of 9 with another touchdown, again posting the best completion percentage of any quarterback on the roster. This isn't just dink and dunk stuff either. We're talking about NFL caliber throws that require precision, timing, and the kind of arm talent that made him a projected first-round pick in the first place. Browns reporter Brad Stainbrook caught one of these moments on Saturday during 7-on-7 drills. Sanders took the snap, surveyed the field, and delivered what witnesses described as a perfectly placed pass that beat the defender and put his receiver in prime position to score. The kind of throw that makes coaches stop what they're doing and take notes. But here's what's really impressive about Sanders. It's not just the physical tools, it's the mental approach. Coach Kevin Stefanski, who's seen his fair share of quarterbacks come and go in Cleveland, has been impressed with Sanders' progress. Shedeur does a nice job of keeping the main thing. He's working hard and keeping his head down. Stefanski said that that's coach speak for this kid gets it. And Sanders does get it. He understands that his draft position doesn't define him. He knows that in the NFL, respect is earned through performance, not pedigree. When asked about not feeling discouraged by his situation, Sanders responded with, "The confidence of a seasoned veteran. It doesn't make me feel down or left out because I know who I am as a person. I know who I am as an individual, and I know what I could bring to this team. So, I can never feel less than any circumstance." This is championship-level mentality right here. The best quarterbacks in the NFL, your Tom Brady's, your Aaron Rodgers, they all have this unshakable belief in themselves regardless of external circumstances. Brady was pick 199. Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for years. Champions find a way to turn adversity into fuel. Now let's talk about the competition Sanders is facing, because this makes his performance even more impressive. The Browns currently have 4 quarterbacks battling for playing time. Joe Flacco, a 40-year-old Super Bowl MVP. Kenny Pickett, a former first-round pick with starting experience. Dillon Gabriel, a third-round rookie from Oregon. And Sanders bringing up the rear as the 5th-round selection. Through the first 3 days of practice, Joe Flacco has gotten 7 sets of first-team reps. Kenny Pickett has gotten 5. Dillon Gabriel has gotten 1, and Sanders? 0. That's the reality of his situation right now. But here's where it gets interesting. Sanders isn't just accepting his position, he's using it as an advantage. While the other quarterbacks are getting thrown into first-team situations and having to learn on the fly, Sanders is getting the opportunity to study, to observe, to really digest the playbook in a way he never could at Jackson State or Colorado, where his father immediately made him the starter. I said the one advantage of not getting many snaps is that he has had the opportunity to learn more in-depth about everything instead of on the fly, Sanders explained. This level of self-awareness and strategic thinking is exactly what you want to see from a young quarterback. Quarterback coach Bill Musgrave, who actually played alongside Deion Sanders during San Francisco's Super Bowl winning season in 1994, has been particularly impressed with Shedeur's development. He's noted improvements in Sanders' ability to call plays in the huddle and operate under center. Fundamental skills that translate directly to game situations. But let's address the elephant in the room, the pressure. Sanders isn't just any rookie quarterback trying to make it in the league. He's Deion Sanders' son. He was a social media sensation at Colorado, and he comes with expectations that most 5th-round picks never have to deal with. How's he handling it? With the same composure he's shown throughout this entire process. The external is cool. I'm thankful for it, Sanders said. But hey, when I get out there, I'm not thinking about external. I'm thinking about more in the organization, thinking about getting the play calls, executing my job, and doing what I've got to do. This is exactly the right mindset. The ability to block out noise and focus on the controllables is what separates NFL caliber players from everyone else. And the Browns organization is starting to take notice. Coach Stefanski has been deliberately vague about the depth chart, saying they're still in the installation phase and teaching phase. But actions speak louder than words, and the fact that Sanders has started getting some second-team reps is significant. Remember, this is a Cleveland Browns organization that has used 40 different starting quarterbacks since 1999. They know dysfunction. at the position better than anyone. They've seen players crumble under pressure, fold when adversity hits, and fail to develop despite having all the physical tools. What they're seeing in Sanders, the work ethic, the attitude, the steady improvement, that's exactly what they've been looking for. The timing couldn't be better either. With Deshaun Watson likely out for the entire 2025 season after re-rupturing his Achilles, the Browns are desperate for quarterback stability. They need someone who can step up and potentially be a long-term answer at the position. Now, I'm not saying Sanders is going to start week 1 against the Bengals. That's probably unrealistic given where he sits on the depth chart right now. But football is a funny game. Injuries happen, performances fluctuate, and opportunities arise for players who are ready to seize them. What Sanders is doing right now is putting himself in position to succeed when that opportunity comes. Every rep he takes, every throw he makes, every day he shows up with the right attitude. It's all building towards something bigger. The preseason will be crucial. Starting August 8th against the Carolina Panthers, we'll get our first real look at how Sanders performs in game situations. This is where all that preparation, all that grinding with the backup units, all that mental development will be put to the test. But based on what we've seen so far, based on the reports coming out of camp, based on Sanders' own track record of rising to meet challenges, I think we're about to witness something special. This kid didn't just accidentally break 100 program records at Colorado. He didn't just accidentally become the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. He didn't just accidentally develop into a quarterback who could complete 70% of his passes against elite college competition. That was all preparation meeting opportunity. And now, with the entire football world having written him off, with draft analysts calling his slide unprecedented, with other teams passing on him 143 times, Sanders has the ultimate motivation to prove everyone wrong. The reporters who are saying keep watching this kid aren't just being nice. They're seeing something in practice that suggests Sanders might be on the verge of making believers out of a lot of people who counted him out. Cleveland Browns fans have been waiting over 2 decades for quarterback stability. They've been burned by so many false hopes, so many franchise quarterbacks who couldn't handle the pressure. But maybe, just maybe, their answer was sitting there at pick 144 all along. The next few weeks are going to be absolutely crucial for Sanders' development and his chances of climbing the depth chart. Every practice rep matters. Every preseason snap counts. Every opportunity to show what he can do is another chance to change the narrative Oh, here's my question for you. Are we watching the beginning of the greatest draft day comeback story in recent memory? Is Shedeur Sanders about to prove that 143 teams made a massive mistake? And could the Cleveland Browns finally have found their franchise quarterback in the most unexpected place? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe because we're going to be following this story every step of the way. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next with Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland.